So this is irrigated rotations. If you want to look at irrigated type rotations, it's again one of our fortes. We're going to look at 3 rotations today. In the old days when we first started, if you had an irrigator in central South Dakota, everybody else was doing wheat and fallow, and they had cattle and they wanted corn. So the price of corn at one time was higher in Pierre than it was in Brookings, because you had to haul corn from Brookings to Pierre because you didn't have corn in Pierre. So if you had an irrigator here, you grew corn, and you grew corn on corn. And of course, corn on corn gives you a problem with corn rootworm larvae eating your roots and things. So there were lots of techniques used to handle that at that time. Most of them were insecticidal. We had several fields that were corn on corn when we started. This is the only one that's left. It's been here since 1990. Chose this field because we chose not to use insecticides on this field to see if there was a way we could handle corn rootworm without insecticides. We still haven't put insecticides here. We do have a comparison of BT versus non-BT, so maybe that's what you'd call an insecticide, but we haven't put a broadcast insecticide thing on here. The reason we're looking at this field is if you look at the native prairie, which we looked at on the dryland segment, that has the highest carbon capture of anything we do. So if you think of an annual crop analog, corn is very high carbon fixer. It's very good at capturing carbon from the environment. And this has not been tilled, so we're really looking at probably the highest carbon of the annual cropping systems with irrigation production. Here we're around 200 bushel the acre on an annual basis. The rotated corn is higher in yield, but this one, it's every year we have the corn on corn. And if you look at the soils here, again, they're darker even in color than the stuff we saw in the dryland because it's irrigated and it's a higher producing. It'd be like an Iowa thing. And you can see how granular that is. We had almost 3 inches of rain 2 days ago. I challenge you to do that in a tilled soil someplace. So it's got these tremendous macropores there. You can take any piece you want, hold it up, and look through it and see light go through. So you got water and air can also go through there. I'm surprised I didn't get an earthworm, but I normally will. So that's it, again, that chocolate cake type look. We do have the large earthworms on most of the Lumbruscus terrestris on most of our irrigated land, and if you look closely, you can see the little middens being gathered up by the earthworms. And what they are is right there's a midden, and that's this stuff. Call it the kitchen and bathroom, or the pantry and the bathroom. And they live in a permanent burrow that runs about 4 feet deep. And they won't come out of that burrow for anything other than to go find and dig a new hole or to have sex. And any 2 of them can have sex. I was looking, Natalie and I were looking the other day at Steve Venner's thesis. He worked on how to introduce earthworms in this country because there really weren't any left here, and so he did that. We introduced these when we started, but about every 9 inches you'll find one of these middens there, and we disrupt them a little bit when we plant, but that hole right there is about the size of a pin, which I don't have a pin in my pocket. That goes 4 feet deep, and that's where when we put water on really fast, it goes down that hole and then soaks in from the side.